Hey guys, it's Sammy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. As far as tonight's AEW Dynamite does go, I thought tonight's show was a good show, very easy to watch show, not a bad show at all. I will say that. Pretty good crowd in Lexington, Kentucky. I thought they were better than most weeks we've gotten recently for Dynamite, so that is a good plus. I mean, I really wasn't expecting that when I'll just say it. When the Outrunners came out during the gauntlet match, did they get the best pop of the match? I feel like they may have got the best pop of any team that came out during that gauntlet match. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I kind of noticed that as well, that they got the best pop, and I don't think I ever heard of these guys.
So they normally do job matches either on Rampage or Collision. I think maybe Ring of Honor. And then last week on Rampage, I think it was, they took on another jobber team and got their first AEW win. So
I don't even know who these guys were. I don't even know their names.
It's like, I don't even know. I just know them as the Outrunners. I don't know who's who, which is which, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's my job to know who's who and what's what, and I don't know. Because like I said, they're usually just the job guys on Collision or Rampage. And when I watch Collision or Rampage, I don't watch those shows to cover it per se. So I'm like half paying attention. But no, I noticed that and I was like, oh, big pop for the Outrunners. Where are they from? It's a good question. Let me see. Hold on. Turbo Floyd and what's the other guy? Truth Magnum or something like that? I don't know where they're from. Because I would say if they're like Kentucky guys, then that would make sense. Let me see. Hold on. Turbo Floyd. Have a Wikipedia? He does not have a Wikipedia. He's got a cage match though. He is from Indiana. Let me see something. I don't even know how to say this. Rensselaer, Indiana? How far is that from Lexington, Kentucky? Let's map it. Maybe he's close enough to where these people just know him. Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, that's like a 5-hour drive. Never mind. But yeah, very interesting. They got the big pop. And that was one of the things that stood out on the show to me. I was like, ooh, Outrunners with a good pop. Holy crap. But other than that, not a bad show. I got bored once or twice throughout this show. But other than that, it was pretty easy to watch. Built up stuff for GrandSlam. Changed some things around for GrandSlam that I'm kind of like, what? So the weird thing here, and I want to get your opinion on this. We'll just get into this right now really fast before we do anything else. They announced Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McInnis for GrandSlam. And then they go, well, if Bryan can go. So are we supposed to be under the assumption that Bryan is hurt? Because it didn't feel like to me, coming off the Jack Perry match, Bryan got hurt. Yeah, they put the bag over his head. But how is that supposed to all of a sudden make it so you can't compete? That I didn't really get or like. It's like, oh, if he can go. So we're supposed to think that he's super messed up? Again, he seemed fine after the Jack Perry match and only took an uppercut from Claudio afterwards. No other moves. So why are we supposed to think that he's unable to compete due to bag over your head? Like what? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I didn't watch All Out, so I remember seeing a clip of the end. The only thing I saw was the bag over the head. At least to me, maybe they're giving the assumption of the BCC might have hurt Danielson so bad to where he can't compete as of right now.
But they didn't, because the whole thing was he beat Jack Perry. Afterwards, he was pretty fine. He seemed all right, standing in the ring with the belt. Christian comes out, wants to cash in his contract. The BCC come out and say, no, you're not. And then the only thing that happens after that, Bryan's literally in the ring. He hugs Moxley. He goes over to Claudio, and Claudio gives him just a regular uppercut. He falls on his butt, looks up at Claudio like this, not looking hurt, and then that's when Moxley jumps on him and puts the bag over his head. No other wrestling move done to Bryan Danielson. So are we supposed to think that putting the bag over his head took so much oxygen out of him he can't compete now? But it's also AEW, and Tony doesn't like to false advertise. So we're talking at a moot point right now anyways, because we're going to get that match, Bryan and Nigel. They're not going to say it's going to happen and not do it. So them saying, if Bryan can go, we'll get this match. Tony's not going to advertise the match and not deliver it. So that's just my opinion. Because Tony's done that before. Right. They've done that before where it's like, we got this big match, but one guy may not be able to do it. And then they always do the match. Because again, Tony's the kind of guy of, if I advertise something and I sell tickets based off of something, you're going to get that. Unless it's something to take that away from us out of our hands. Like, he's not going to book a storyline. He's not going to book a big match and then pull it away in storyline, if you get what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
So, yeah, that's the one head scratcher to me. A, Darby's just all of a sudden giving his title shot away, maybe. That and the Nigel Bryan match being a maybe match are the two things to me that are kind of like, huh? Okay, whatever. But with that, we got a bunch to talk about. Excuse me. When it comes to AEW Dynamite, they're building up to GrandSlam. They're advertising, but not building anything for Wrestle Dream yet. But we saw that logo all over the show, on the ramp or on the stage and hanging in the building. So that's the next pay-per-view, Wrestle Dream, from the Tacoma Dome, Tacoma, Washington. And with that, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. And I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, head over and help us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. If you want to support in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. You can do so a number of different ways. And even if you just can only do it at the $1 tier, we greatly appreciate that, whether that's on YouTube or patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And also remember, to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you could do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use our code PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting that new Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Maybe you either already bought it or you're waiting for it to go free tomorrow. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. Use our code right here. PW Unlimited. PWU NLIMITED. You also got a bunch of new skins in Fall Guys and Fortnite that you can get, as well as Rocket League. Use our code to support us for no extra cost. Takes like 10 seconds to type it in, depending on how fast you type, whether that's on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, your mobile device, or your PC. But with all of that, we got a show to talk about. That as we come on the air, we got footage of Moxley leaving All Out, saying that he hopes people don't think he enjoyed what he did to Bryan Danielson, because he didn't. Danielson doesn't have the stomach for this any longer. And 2 years ago, they made a commitment for something real. Something that would last years after they're gone. An idea that couldn't be destroyed. Not for money or recognition. Mr. Patience. Mr. Empathy. The greatest man he's ever known. All he sees backstage are egos and jealousy when he looks around. Our mentor called Danielson the perfect wrestler, but saw himself in Moxley talking about William Regal. His mentor told him, guys like us, we are who we are. We can't pretend to be anything else. He's no villain or hero. He is, however, the one. He is, However, the one true king of these, he is the one true king of these lands. We tried Danielson's way, but diplomacy has failed. And now we choose war. Footage of Danielson being rushed from the ring to the back was shown during the words of Moxley. So basically, Moxley is taking over the company. They're doing like a invasion angle, but not really an invasion angle, I guess you would say. But to me, other than like the bag thing being shocking, it's all kind of felt lackluster. What do you think?
I don't even know at this point. I really don't.
So I dropped this kind of scoop ski last week, but I was told by somebody in the business that whatever this John Moxley thing is going to be in the end, we haven't seen everybody involved. Shane McMahon is supposed to be involved, and a certain wrestler who's more been a manager most recently is supposed to be involved as well. I can't say the second name because I've only had it been told to me by one person, and so I don't want to put that out there without it being fully confirmed. But there's going to be more former WWE guys involved in this, apparently, from what I'm being told. So
the Hurt Business.
Maybe there's a syndicate coming. I don't know. Maybe. Just saying, maybe.
Shane McMahon's gonna come in there. He's gonna bring in the Hurt Business, so it's gonna be like a WWE invasion.
Raw Underground.
AEW Underground.
Right. I mean, look who's doing this so far. Moxley, the shooter fighter. Marina, the shooter fighter. Claudio. Pac. I mean, I thought Pac was great tonight in his little promo. I'm like, oh, this is the Pac we've needed forever. But yeah, no, I am very interested to see where this goes. Like I said, I'll just put it out there. Fuck it. Screw it. I was told Shane McMahon and MVP are supposed to be part of this angle as well. From somebody that I don't know how well if he even knows Shane, but it's somebody that I confidently say knows MVP. So just putting that out there.
When's Pac's contract supposed to expire?
I have no clue because he's had injury time and we don't know if it's going to be tacked on and we don't even know when his original contract was supposed to be over. So I have no clue. But I would say, based off of history, if he does become available, Triple H would probably want him because we know how much Triple H liked him in NXT.
I'm just curious how Triple H would use him on the main roster, though. Because look at all the guys they brought back since taking over.
Okay, true. But if you look at all the people that they brought back that were former NXT guys, were any of them pushed to the level of a Pac, though, and Neville? I don't think so. There's a reason Triple H had that belt on him for as long as he did, for so long, because he thought he was a perfect champion for that brand. So I'm not saying he's going to bring him in and immediately put a title on him, but I have faith in him going back to WWE under Triple H.
Well, look at all the other guys Triple H really liked in NXT. Like Karrion Kross. He loved Karrion Kross. Look how they're using Karrion Kross on the main roster.
Yeah, you have a point on that one.
Andrade is another one. I mean, Andrade, like, he's having good matches with Carmelo Hayes, but...
Hey, Andrade's a champion right now, so you can't take that away from him.
A speed champion, that doesn't even count.
Hey, a title's a title, damn it.
Not that title.
Yeah, I know. That's like saying I won the Owen Hart Cup Championship.
Right.
I don't think Brian walked out with that belt once.
I think of another wrestler that Triple H brought back.
I mean,
Bronson Reed they're starting to use Bronson Reed pretty well, though.
Oh no, Bronson Reed, he's getting pushed to the moon right now. That was a slow build. But it's paying off now. COVID kind of hurt him for a moment, but it was only for a week. So, if you think about it, he missed 1 week and he was right back in where he was supposed to be anyways. Braun Strowman stuff, that main event on Raw, because he was supposed to be in that Braun Strowman spot, be in the 4-way, and then what I was told is basically whatever they did with Braun Strowman, just flip it. Reed was supposed to be in the Braun spot. Braun was supposed to be in the Reed spot where Braun was supposed to come in during that main event, take out Bronson Reed, and then go from there. But they just flipped it because Bronson Reed had to miss a week due to COVID. So it all makes sense. We're going to get probably another Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed match, which I'm not too against. But I just hope Bronson Reed wins and then moves on to bigger, better things. I mean, they wouldn't do it because it's heel versus heel, but give me Gunther versus Bronson Reed.
We already seen that match, though.
For the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You know, if the title's on the world title's online, they're going to work even harder.
I think some other wrestlers they'd put against Gunther then in the meantime.
Well, yeah, that would be a great one. But as far as this Collision show does go, we see Darby Allin skateboarding into the arena, so we know eventually he's going to be around, and they're going to get him and Moxley doing whatever.
You mean Dynamite? You said Collision.
Oh, I meant Dynamite. My bad. I literally wrote Collision right here. Chris Cage then comes out to address his world title contract. My first thought was, who cares? Nobody at all. So Schiavone introduces Chris Cage and the Patriarchy to the ring. Loud boos before bringing up his Casino Gauntlet contract, guaranteeing him title shot anytime, anywhere. Cage says that his son, Nick Wayne, told him the word on the street is that Cage has infinite aura. Now that Cage has this contract, he's undeniable. All in, the trio's titles were stolen. But when Killswitch grabbed him by the throat, he saw a look in his eyes. That light bulb went off, and he realized that he needed to be a monster, a wrecking machine, a killer who belongs to Cage. Schiavone brings up Cage, teasing cashing in it all out. As the fans start chanting for Luchasaurus, Cage says that he was prepared to sign the contract and make it official. But it wasn't his time or place. Brian's days are numbered. And if he thinks that being suffocated was bad, it's nothing compared to what Christian will do to him to take the title. He'll make Brie wish that she was the one with CTE. I'm like, huh? Such a fucking stupid comment. He said not only is Cage the face of TBS now and forever, but he's the next AEW World Champion. As Cage held his contract in the air, we then see Kip Sabian at ringside before walking away. What the fuck is this Kip Sabian stuff? I thought when we got the Kip Sabian Nick Wayne match, that was done. I don't know. What did you think of this segment? I didn't care for it at all. It bored the shit out of me.
I didn't like it either. I did not like the CTE part.
Yeah, that was a dumb fucking line.
I mean, that's not really something you would really necessarily joke about, though.
No. Ray Paquette's backstage with Don Callis family. This was an interesting setup for what we get at the end of the show. So she's backstage with Don Callis family and international, as well as the international champion Will Ospreay. Callis thanked Ospreay for being there and brings up Ospreay winning every casino gauntlet prior to this that he's been in, and that maybe tonight he should team with Fletcher and win another one. Bring the tag titles to the Don Callis family. Ospreay said that he has his hands full with Ricochet. Callis brings up the favor that Ospreay owes him, as Fletcher said that he's tired of being so close and not getting the job done. There's not a single person he'd rather win the tag titles with than Will. Will Ospreay then accepts. Takeshita is less than thrilled that it's Ospreay and Fletcher instead. A little dissension there. Why didn't Don throw it as Takeshita and Fletcher? Why you have to recruit Will back? Interesting play there with Takeshita. I actually liked that. What'd you think?
I mean, I thought it was all right. I mean, my whole thing with this is like when Will Ospreay said like, I want to be out of the Don Callis family, nothing personal. I just want like time to myself or be on my own. And Don was like, cool. And now they're having him like come back like,
no.
Like it's nothing.
No. It's not nothing, because we're supposed to believe that Will Ospreay had a contract with Don Callis to work for Don. So basically, Don told him, I will rip up your contract with me, but I will call for one favor at any time that you basically can't say no to. So that's the whole thing. Which I hate the whole you signed a contract with me kind of thing. Like when they were doing the thing with Matt Hardy and he owned Ethan Page's contract and he owned Private Party's contract. I thought that shit was stupid too. I've never been a fan of the whole. Now, if it's I'm your manager and so I'm signed to you to be your manager. There's ways around it to make it okay. But when it's like, you're a wrestler in this company, but you're signed to me. That I don't like. It's like, no, everybody signed to Tony freaking Khan. Why are they signed to? Why would Will Ospreay sign a contract to work for Don Callis? When it's like, is Don the one going to management and saying, Will needs a title shot here, or this guy needs this, or this? No. We always saw, even though he was under the Don Callis family, he was making everything happen for himself. So it's like, what was Don even doing anyways? Being allowed to go on commentary because it was a Will. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that. I talked to death about not liking it when they did it with Matt Hardy and the Hardy family office or whatever it was called. But I did like this though. I just hope they're not pulling Takeshita away from Don, because I think Takeshita being with Don as a heel is really good for him. So I just hope this isn't a tease of Takeshita leaving the family. So Scapegoat, Jack Perry pulls up backstage in his bus. So are they literally driving this goddamn bus all around the country? That's my question. I doubt they're getting a different bus every time and painting it black. And yeah, I doubt they're getting a bus every week in a different city. They really got somebody driving this bus to every city?
I feel like they're like mocking Cody. Like Cody has his tour bus and they got like Jack Perry has his own bus now.
I don't know about that, because there's a lot of wrestlers in WWE that have a bus. I mean, AJ's got his own bus. Randy's got his own bus. But I know Big Show had a bus when he was in WWE. I don't know if he still uses it for AEW stuff. But
Big Show needed a bus, though.
Right. But yeah, there's more and more wrestlers slowly getting buses. I want to say
How
Charlotte.
did AJ get a bus?
The Good Brothers basically were like, hey, you should have a bus. And so AJ got himself a bus because they wanted to ride on the bus, basically. He's like,
AJ bought a bus, or WWE got him one?
No. So from what I know, all these wrestlers have buses. It's their buses. But I think with AJ, if I'm remembering correctly, and you can correct me in the live chat, correct me in the comments below, AJ had it put into his last contract that he got some sort of bonus or money that would like compensate and pay for most of the bus, maybe. I don't know. There's something about it. They got it worked into his last contract. I know Cody's, it's his bus. Cody had the bus when he was in AEW. And then Randy, I think Randy got his own bus because he talked about that in the past as well. Hold on. AJ Styles. But AJ told the story. He's like, basically, Gallows and Anderson are the ones that not confused, but like got me into getting a bus. He's like, I don't think it's because they want to ride on a bus. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. This is from the U.S. Sun about AJ Styles' last contract. This says, okay, so U.S. Sun wrote this, but it's actually a report from Fightful. It says the big money terms is said to include X amount of money a year, financial accommodations that would cover the travel of his bus. So I don't know if that means he bought the bus and that WWE is covering the travel costs of the bus or what. But he got a bus and he got it worked into his last contract that somehow WWE is helping out with the bus. So, yeah, I remember
Cody got the bus whenever like he signed with WWE. Like WWE gave him a bus.
No, Cody had the bus in AEW. They did a whole angle where he fought QT on top of it. So, yeah, no, he's had that bus. The Nightmare Express.
I wonder if WWE actually gave somebody a bus as far as like a bonus or something.
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought they did at one point.
I don't think so. I mean, they've done the whole thing where they'll bring a bus in to hide somebody in. Like, I know when the Hardys returned to WrestleMania 33, they had a bus backstage that no one was allowed to go near, and they hid the Hardys in that bus. But other than that, I don't know about giving people buses. But speaking of Jack Perry and his bus, he took on Lio Rush for the TNT title. And I'm sitting here going, how the hell is Lio Rush number one contender? What did Lio Rush do to earn this spot? Because every time I see Lio Rush recently, it's 6-man matches almost every time with the goddamn Top Flight. Hold on, let me go to Lio Rush's cage match. Because I'm like, what has Lio Rush done to earn this? Single match wise. 8-man tag. New Japan match. Lost the Fatal 4-Way to Takeshita on Rampage. Won a 16-man match. Lost the Trios ladder match on Collision. Lost to Claudio. Beat Tony Nese, Rocky Romero, and Blake Christian in Ring of Honor. Yeah, no. He's literally done nothing to earn this. Nothing. He hasn't won a singles match. He hasn't won an actual match. Other than let me see. Hold on. Yeah. Other than the 16-man tag on the all-in buy-in 0 hour, whatever you want to call it now, he won there, but then hasn't won a single match in AEW. Freaking A. Can't even. Since June 19th on Rampage, he won a qualifying match to be in the TNT title match at Forbidden Door. And then even going back from there, he hadn't won a match. Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. He's done literally nothing to earn this. Like, I could see some people try to go, he won a bunch of tag matches or he won a bunch of 6-man matches, but he hasn't even done that. He hasn't even done that. This makes no sense. Match was good, though, I will say that. Perry attacks right at the bell as Excalibur informs us that Bryan Danielson is at home, recovering from Moxley's attack. I said, recovering from Moxley. Moxley put the bag over his head. That's it. I get it. He could have, killed him because loss of oxygen, but he didn't. I'm not going to let it. Nope. Anyways, they also said that Wheeler Yuta is not here because he's with Bryan. They want you to think that Bryan is at home laying in his deathbed, which no one's going to fucking believe that. Lio Rush sent Perry to the floor as he shoved Action Andretti, who was at ringside, but was distracted enough for Rush to hit a springboard boot. Perry then fired off a chop, tried a DDT on the edge of the ring. Rush fought free and then tried a moonsault of his own, but was actually caught with a snake eyes on the apron as we go to a break. Coming back for the break, Perry suckered Andretti into grabbing his foot as he got caught by the referee. Aubrey Edwards then ejected him in what was to be the lamest ejection ever. This delay allowed Rush to battle back with his speed, connecting on multiple tope suicidas. Back in the ring, Perry ran right into a Spanish fly for a near fall. Perry fought back with another snake eyes, this time in the middle buckle, as a snapdragon put Perry back in control. Commentary then kept bringing up Kenny Omega and wished him a speedy recovery as Perry went for it again. So before I keep going, them mentioning Kenny over and over, could that be a sign of that we don't know, but they know that Kenny could be back soon? Because they literally haven't mentioned Kenny in months. What do you think?
Good possibility.
Because it was kind of out of nowhere, and it's like, we really want to wish Kenny Omega a speedy recovery kind of thing. And I'm just like, they're not saying that just to say that for nothing. You know what I mean? So I think that could have been a tease for something. But we haven't heard anything on his, recovery from the surgery and how he's doing. I've noticed that he's doing a lot less, if really not many at all, live streams anymore on Twitch, because he had set up his Twitch, was going live a couple times a week, once, twice a week or whatever, had the surgery, and then maybe did like one or two since then. So I don't know exactly what's fully going on. Back to the match. Rush countered into a poison rana. Rush then tried a springboard stunner, but Perry met him with a running knee and then a proper running knee to win the match. Perry then just walked back, didn't really do no post-match celebration or anything. David Decker says, I've heard he's been training. So I'm not training per se. Like, we don't know if that means he's in a ring, training, running ropes. We've just heard that he's able to get back in the gym. That's the last we heard, I think, from Meltzer. So technically that's training because he can now work out again from the last we heard. But what Meltzer said was he's training back in the gym, but it wasn't stated if he was able to actually get in the ring and take bumps yet. And Meltzer did write that it's unclear if he can take bumps yet. And this was about a month and a half ago. But what do you think of this match for the TNT title and an undeserved title shot?
I mean, the match was good, but yeah, this was kind of just random.
Yeah, especially when it's like, yes, Jack Perry and Leo Rush on paper should be a really good match. It was a pretty dang good match itself. But why are we supposed to care when it's a guy that's literally, since coming back to AEW in May or June, Leo Rush has won 2 matches. 2 matches. Like, come on. What are we doing here, Tony Khan? Don't book to just, I want to do a fun, cool match. You're not an indie promotion that doesn't have storylines. You're not an indie that's just, hey, we've got a show coming up on Friday. Let's book these 2 guys against each other because it should be a fun match. No, you're a television product with storylines and things that are supposed to make sense. If you want to book like that, then be an indie fed. So
I mean, they act like an indie fed.
True.
If I'm being completely honest.
True.
Heck, they act like a. Oh, yeah, I saw this video that someone made. It was basically like people in AEW saying this AEW were the best wrestle, and all they kept showing was just a bunch of comedy wrestling in AEW. And at the end, it was The Rock. And at the end, it was The Rock saying, "Shut up."
I think I saw that video. It was a lot of like people humping each other and stuff.
It was the Daniel Garcia doing the humping, and the Billy Gunn doing the humping as well.
But don't even get me started on where the best wrestle, because that's just a WCW knockoff. Everyone's already called them a WCW knockoff in the past. But it's like WCW's whole thing in the past was WCW, where the big boys play. AEW, where the best wrestle. It's basically the same thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is a WCW knockoff.
Yep. So Alex Marvez is in the back, and he catches up with Jack Perry, asking his thoughts about All Out. Perry said that people like him are crucified in his life, so they could be worshipped in the next. Perry threw the TNT title back into the bus and drove off. I don't understand that, and didn't even think it was needed. Like, what? We got footage of the Lights Out Steel Cage match from All Out between Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland. Renee Paquette then welcomed Hangman Page. This is good. So, she asked him, where do you go now? What is next? Page said if he found 1,000 houses that Strickland called home, he would have burned them all ashes to the ground, just to make him pay for what he did to Page and his family. He meant everything that he did to Strickland. If anyone got in his way and tried to protect Swerve, well, they get it too. He will find them and hurt them. He walks off. You hear a noise, and Renee's like, what are you doing? Or she yells something like that. Like, you don't need to do that. And he like knocks some random guy down. And then walks by a Top Flight and Layla Gray. Sorry. Layla Gray. He approaches Dark Order. They're kind of just like, what is your problem? And then Jeff Jarrett walks up randomly. And he's like, seen a lot of guys that take the demented path. You might be going the extra mile, but it all ends the same with regret and shame. Jarrett said the Page will regret the day that he laid hands on Jarrett's wife. He'll learn the worst person he'll ever look at is the one staring at him in the mirror. Page then waffles Jarrett and tosses him into a bunch of chairs as Karen and others run over to check on him, and then he just walks off. I guess we're getting Jeff Jarrett and Hangman Page again. Cool. But it's like, where do we go next with Hangman? Because this is weird. Hangman wins the big cage match. Swerve is effectively taking time off. And now Hangman's just a guy beating up people backstage? I thought that was Moxley's new thing. What did you think of all this?
Yeah, I don't even know what they're doing with Hangman now. I really don't.
I think that's a big problem with AEW is, yes, they may have stories and they may have plans, but they're not making them. And I get it. Sometimes you don't want everything to be predictable, but they're not making everything seem like they're making too much stuff feel booked in the moment instead of, oh, there's a plan for this. Oh, we could see where it might be going. It's more of, oh yeah, I don't know what this is and I'm confused. And I get it. Confusion could lead to, they're going to come back next week and watch the show just to see what is actually happening because they're confused. But if you confuse people for too long, then they're eventually, the confusion is going to wear off as far as a draw and not be a draw. So that's just my opinion. The confusion might work for a few weeks because it's like, oh, whoa, I don't know where this is going. I need to come next week and see where this is going. Then eventually it's like, I still don't know where this is going. They're not going to tell me. Fuck it. Never mind. But
Right.
Esports Gaming Rules has a couple bit donations here. He says,
While you read those, I'm going to get some more water.
go for it. He says, does TK know what he announced? Wait, does TK know what he announced? He might think he can bring old school ROH fans. I think not. And looks like BCC is becoming the We Hate WWE club. If they bring Shane McMahon and the Hurt Business, and Motor City Machine Guns might be coming to WWE, maybe thanks to TNA. So no one knows anything about Motor City Machine Guns. Whatever they're going to do on their own. Motor City Machine Guns working WWE will have nothing to do with the TNA relationship. They are not signed to TNA. They are not working with TNA. They have nothing to do with TNA. So if WWE gets the Motor City Machine Guns, it is no doing by TNA. As far as the rest of your comment goes, I'm a little confused. I don't understand what you mean by, does TK know what he announced? He might think he can bring old school ROH fans. I don't understand that. I'm a little confused there. But yeah. The weird thing with Moxley's group is I don't think it's the We Hate WWE club, as you said. You know, your thing is, looks like the BCC is becoming the We Hate WWE club. I don't understand that. I don't really vibe with that. But it does seem like a group of a bunch of, and it makes sense, a group of a bunch of former WWE guys. I mean, they already kicked out Yuta because Yuta ain't a former WWE guy, so he doesn't fit the script. But you've got Moxley, former Dean Ambrose, Marina Shafir, former Marina Shafir in WWE, Pac, the former Neville. You've got Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro. And then if you bring in Hurt Business, MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and I just don't want this group to be too big, is my thing. Like, where we're at now, 3 guys and a girl, kind of perfect size for this group.
Maybe a manager.
Right. And so that maybe that's where MVP can come in. I just hope that whatever this...
Or Shane McMahon be the manager.
Right. But my whole thing, what I was about to get at was, I just hope that this and Moxley's new group is not what they trademarked Hurt Syndicate for. I hope Hurt Syndicate is just MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and not whatever this bigger thing is going to be. He also says, and this is what we were talking about. You brought this up to me before we started the show. He says, ESPN put Nick Khan, Triple H, and The Rock as the top 3 most important people in pro wrestling. Well, not most important, most influential. And the list is not clear on what they mean by influential. Because Luke brought this up to me as we were getting ready to go live, and I looked it up really quickly. And it doesn't really clarify what they mean by influential, because it can mean a couple of different things. People that just have a lot of say and a lot of influence in the business, or is it people that are big influencers on social media and within the world and can help the business that way? Because, I mean, Logan Paul's even on this list. So I don't know what the list was supposed to mean at all.
What was the part that esports said about Motor City Machine Guns?
Oh, he's basically saying, are they going to sign with WWE because of TNA? No, because they have no affiliation or connection with TNA anymore because they're not signed with them or working for them.
I mean, here's what I think could happen, and I don't want this to happen.
Before you say that, all I'm going to say, nobody, and I mean 0 people, know what their plans are. Literally no one knows what the Motor City Machine Guns are doing or have plans to do, other than taking bookings on the indies here and there. But go for it.
I mean, here's what I think could happen, and I don't want this to happen. Let's say the Lucha Bros like sign with WWE, and then Motor City Machine Guns are like, oh, they signed with WWE. Their spot's open in AEW, and they go sign with AEW.
Doubt it. But I will say, Lucha Bros coming to WWE, I would, and I'll never put 100% on anything until it happens, because you never know. Something could fall through. Even if they say it's a lock, something can make it not. But I would put 99.9% that the Lucha Bros go to WWE. From everything that I've heard and what others are reporting, I could put as close to 100% as you can get without saying 100% on. Pretty sure Lucha Bros are going to WWE.
I mean, they already got Pac with the BCC now.
And here's the thing. The original plan was Pac and the Lucha Bros Death Triangle winning the trios titles at All In. That was the original plan. So something changed that. But no, WWE, if done right, make a lot of money off of Phoenix and Pentagon. You start selling those masks and you get them over to a point where people will really want the mask, and then you start selling like multiple versions of the mask and this and that like they do with Ray. I'm surprised we don't see more masks of Dragon Lee on sale. But if you could push Penta and Phoenix as a top tag team, hopefully on the main roster quickly, maybe they start them in NXT just to help with, hey, they're a name that people know from TV. Put them on NXT to help the CW show for a little bit, but get them on that main roster quick, push them hard, and then go from there. But yeah, I think that they could benefit greatly in WWE as long as they're not just lumped in with either the LWO or Legado. Put them doing their own thing like we now see with Andrade, and they'll be fine. Because we've noticed in WWE, all the Latino wrestlers, they like to lump them together.
Or what if they do put him with Andrade?
I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it at all. I think Andrade is perfect right now by himself. What he is doing, the stuff with Carmelo Hayes, great. Now let the Lucha Bros come, be a tag team, push them as the top tag team, and eventually give them tag titles. I could see them being SmackDown tag champs, the WWE tag team champions on SmackDown.
Give me the Lucha Bros versus the Bloodline.
Ray Phoenix versus Jacob Fatu. That match would be so good.
Ray Phoenix versus Tamatonga.
That'd be good too.
Or Penta versus Tamatonga.
You just gotta keep Ray Phoenix healthy. That's the only thing. Last 2 years, he was getting hurt a lot. So you gotta keep him healthy. That's the big part. Moving forward, we gotta go for it.
Did they ever say when their contracts are up?
I don't know about Phoenix, but Penta's is up October.
I was about to say, have them debut on the NXT show in St. Louis.
It's possible. If their deals are up October 1st, it's possible.
Yeah, but I feel like with WWE recently, when they sign somebody, they don't want to have them debut super quickly.
But with who though?
Jacob Fatu.
That was more of a, hey, we're going to do a bunch of international shows and he may not be able to travel out of the country right now, so we're just going to play it safe.
Oh, the Dragon Lee one.
What about Dragon Lee? He went to NXT really quickly and then worked there for a while before coming to the main roster. I don't feel like
they didn't have him they didn't have him actually wrestle though till Stand Deliver.
Right, because they built him up to that big show. He signed in January, ended December, and they slowly built up, hey, this guy is coming, this guy is coming. They didn't just throw him on the show. They actually built up the anticipation for him. The only ones that we've seen recently that they waited on, Stephanie Vicur we still haven't seen, Julia. I know Stephanie Vicur is dealing with, like we talked about the other day, a passport or a visa issue. And Julia, she basically asked, hey, can I finish up and work Marigold for a couple of months before I finally come in? So Those weren't really them just waiting. It's more of like they agreed to things with Julia to get her to sign, and Stephanie, it's more of out of their hands right now. Delta, I have no clue. So as far as the next match does go, it never happened. Commander Private Party came out for, I guess, a trios match, but they were attacked by Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Marina Shafir. Pac then cut a great promo. Pac said that this company is broken, and enough is enough. What happened at All Out was inevitable. They are inevitable. As for Pac, he's been very lost for a very long time, but not anymore. He has something to believe in, a purpose. Diplomacy has failed. This company is ours. Claudio and Pac then stormed off as Moxley and Marina stood in the ring over the fallen commander for a moment before walking off into the crowd. I thought Pac cut just a perfect promo. Pac is really good on the mic when he is given the time. You only need about 2 minutes here, but I loved it. I thought this was great. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, this was pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like Pac is very underrated on the mic,
especially when he's a heel. He cuts really good heel promos. So we got some more bit donations here on Twitch. The big Give It All 224 says, Tim, what was the whole conflict between MVP and Triple H via X? Why MVP called him an hypocrite? Or is there some sort of a story that we still don't know? Well, I don't know the full story. MVP has been doing podcasts where he's kind of insinuating that he thinks Triple H is racist. I think that's the whole thing. I don't know fully what's what. And I don't want to kind of get into this without knowing because it's such kind of a slippery slope of the whole racist thing. But yeah, I'm going to I don't want to give you a non-answer, but because I don't really know, and it's not really been reported or really fully put out there, other than the few little sound bites and things that he has said, MVP that is. But it's like basically it was weird because he said one thing yesterday, maybe it was, or the day before, that Bobby Lashley's the Black Brock Lesnar. You should have pushed Bobby like Brock and this and that. And I'm just like, why do you put race into it? That's my whole thing. And then we also have from Esports Gaming Rules. What did you think of Julia's tribute to Hana Kimura on NXT? Honestly, I didn't even notice it. And maybe that's wrong on me to not notice, but if she did a tribute to Hana Kimura, I didn't notice it. I apologize for not noticing it. Did you notice it? Did you even watch NXT?
I did watch it, but I didn't notice it because I don't know who Hana Kimura is.
Hana Kimura is a Japanese female wrestler who was, I want to say, bullied online and eventually committed suicide a couple of years back. I want to say right before, correct me on the timeline here, right before COVID, 2019. So yeah.
I remember the Alex Hammerstone part. That was awesome.
Oh yeah. I thought it was going to be Moose based off of the silhouette in the video. And as soon as we found out it was Hammerstone, and I go, oh no shit, that ain't fucking Moose. I felt so dumb when I found out it was Hammerstone. I was like, oh, I'm a dum.
I thought it was better to be Hammerstone than Moose, in my opinion.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
If they're going to bring Moose in, they got to bring him in for like something actually special, not just like this.
True. You're not wrong.
Oh yeah, did you all see the Josh Alexander thing?
Which thing?
I can't remember. I think Fightful said something about Josh Alexander.
Well, I want to say he was backstage at an NXT show a couple weeks ago, and he was backstage at Money in the Bank in Canada. Other than that, I haven't heard anything else. So the Learning Tree arrives in a convertible backstage. That's a big thing to keep in mind. Convertible. Chris Jericho then says that he's wearing a $7,000 jacket Orange Cassidy ruined 4 years ago. Jericho said that's why he stole Cassidy's backpack last week, or for not paying him back, and will show everyone what's in it later. Big Bill then said that Cassidy must suffer the consequences. Yeah. Ricochet then took on Sammy Guevara in a hell of a match. Basically, it was like, these two guys are super athletic, and they're going to show you they're super athletic. Quick series of takedowns early, as both didn't really have an advantage. And then they flipped out of stuff. A couple drop kicks and this and that. Misdirection spot thrust kicks. And it all ends in a stalemate. And I'm like, oh, this is the kind of match we're getting. Should be fun. You see it on paper, you go, banger. And they delivered. So we get a chant of, this is a Flippy from the crowd in Lexington, Kentucky. This is Flippy. Think about that one. Ricochet flipped out of a trip as a drop kick sent Guevara to the outside. Ricochet then cleared the top with a twisting press, landing right on his feet. Both then brawled up the ramp as Guevara sent Ricochet face first into the entrance tunnel before climbing the stage and hitting a huge moonsault off of it. Guevara then clutched his ankle. I was like, uh-oh, as we go to a commercial break. He seemed fine. But we've seen guys work through injuries to finish matches all the time, so hopefully he's good. Haven't heard anything yet. Back from the break, Guevara was in control and sent Ricochet into the barricade before connecting on a somersault twisting dive on his own, giving a shout out to Tay and Luna. Guevara then wanted a power bomb on the stage, but Ricochet backdropped out. A double jump senton off the barricade by Ricochet, who then followed this up with a springboard clothesline and a running shooting star press back inside for a 2. Full butt from Ricochet as Guevara tried to leapfrog over, but was caught in midair. Ricochet wanted a DVD, and Guevara countered a Death Valley driver into a destroyer, which was really cool, and then hit a big old top rope cutter for a 2. Guevara then went to the top, rolled through a shooting star press. Ricochet then tried a rolling cutter, but Guevara caught him and then hit a pump knee. A GTH was dodged into a Ricochet roundhouse kick that led to a brutal axe kick. Ricochet then hit his basically sit out reverse DDT, they're calling the Vertigo, and picked up the victory. So yeah, great match. I loved it. And then as soon as the match ends, the Beast Mortis comes out and flattens Ricochet with a spear. Frustrated Guevara grabbed a chair and made the save. Basically was like, this guy just beat me, but I'm a babyface now, so I should help him. And he helped up Ricochet, and they took out Mortis. What did you think of the match?
It was good. The Mortis part, I'm like, oh man, I guess they're having Ricochet just fight like a bunch of luchadors right now, or just try to fight like a bunch of high flying guys.
Ricochet versus Mortis should be really good.
It will, but
it is random. Yes,
it feels random.
A lot of AEW feels random, but hey, that's what their fan base likes. They just like the spectacle of matches. So
here's my whole thing with the whole Ricochet stuff. I know Ricochet said he wants to create like more wrestling art with like guys who are just like him, but I just don't want his whole time in AEW just to have random matches with guys that are just like him.
Right. My whole thing is I hope he doesn't rack up a bunch of wins just to get to Will Ospreay so they can say, this guy's a legit challenger. He lose to Ospreay and then just kind of be another guy on the roster after that. I hope that he doesn't just peter down to, a Mortis, a Roderick Strong, a Kyle O'Reilly. Just, oh, hey, it's Rampage tonight. Let's throw Ricochet in a 6-man tag. Hey, it's Collision. Let's throw Ricochet in a trios match. So, I hope that doesn't eventually happen to him.
Or to be like how he was in WWE, like, hey, we need someone to put on a good match. They're not going to win. Oh, Ricochet.
Exactly.
Because, at least to me, I don't know if you feel the same way, but like, at least to me, the whole point of like leaving WWE is to like improve somewhere else. And like, I mean, I don't know if you agree with that.
Yes and no. It's kind of a twofold. It's like you leave because you feel like either A, I've done everything here there is to do, like Brian. There was literally nothing more for Brian to do in WWE unless he just wanted to be WWE champion again. He's won everything. Or it's I've done everything here, let me go try this other place. Or it's Ricochet's point of, and then I think this is why Ricochet left. I'm at this. The ceiling is here. I'm never going to get higher than this. I'm going to be that guy that's going to have great matches with a lot of people, but I'm never going to get past where I'm at now as far as like my push. So I'm going to go to this other company, have a bunch of cool matches, and hopefully maybe get used better there. I think that was more of what Ricochet was thinking. And I'm not going to think for him or tell you I know exactly, but just from the outside looking in, that's how it kind of looked.
I mean, yeah, like I don't think Ricochet, like I feel like his ceiling is international title. I feel like that's his ceiling in AEW. I don't see AEW using him as like making him world champion there.
Oh yeah, no, me neither. Which is unfortunate, but
I was kind of hoping Ricochet went to New Japan.
But here's the thing. You say I never see them putting the world title on him or anything. Think about guys that never won the world title at all. Scott Hall, Mr. Perfect. Two guys that are considered some of the best ever. Never won the world title in any company. So,
I mean, I feel like if Ricochet went somewhere like a New Japan or a TNA, good chance maybe.
I can see TNA putting the world title on him. New Japan, probably not either, though. I don't even see it in New Japan.
I mean, do you think they're going to put the belt on Zack Sabre Jr.?
I think there's actually a good chance.
I mean, if they put on Zack Sabre Jr., I think there's a good chance they could put on Ricochet.
But here's the thing. Zack's been there for how long? Ricochet was never, I feel, in my opinion, and I could be wrong on this, I never felt like Ricochet was a 100% full-timer for New Japan. Zack has been. New Japan is his home. New Japan was the place where Ricochet would go and do tours and shows, but it was never his home base like AEW is now, like WWE was, like it is for Zack Sabre Jr., like it is or was for Okada, for Juice Robinson, for Will Ospreay, for Jay White before they left. So that's my whole thing. It's because Ricochet would have to build the trust with New Japan and the New Japan fans as this is our guy. He is here. We're his home base, and yeah, go from there. So that's why with Zack, I could see it because New Japan's his home. Dude.
I mean, isn't it kind of like that anywhere?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's
isn't
why
it kind of like that anywhere, though?
Right. Hence why if he were to go to New Japan, I mean, maybe eventually down the road he can build it up to where that's his home base, and then they could put the world title on him. But it's going to be a while. It'd be quite a while. And I know I'm talking out my ass because they put the world title on Moxley earlier this year, but I don't know. Moving forward, we got some highlights from the Chicago street fight between Willow and Statlander. Nate Paquette was then backstage with Kazuchika Okada, who said defending his title at All Out was the hardest night of his life. And I go, really? Even harder than all those goddamn Kenny Omega matches? Or them Tanahashi matches? Or those Tokyo Dome main events? Okay, bud. Anyways, Don Callis then walked in with Takeshita, who said, you didn't pin him. Okada said, Takeshita will be a champion, just not the Continental Champion, bitch. Takeshita then got right in Okada's face, and Okada just walked off. Whenever we get that match, I can't wait. That match is going to be so good. And I like how they're slowly teasing it.
I wonder who will take the Continental belt off Okada. Is it going to be Kenny when he comes back?
I think, that would make some sense. I think it should just be Takeshita. I think Takeshita should do it. But here's the other question. Do we know what happens with that title in a couple months when they start the Continental Classic again? Do they take the title off of Okada? He's got to go back through the tournament and then try to re-win it? Or is he just the champ at the end of the tournament that the winner of the tournament faces? Have they ever said what's going to happen? Not that I can recall.
I don't think so.
Well, that's my whole thing. It's like, okay, it's middle of September now. Continental Classic should start in November, beginning of December. So what do they do with the title? If I just feel like right now, Okada's not going to lose that belt depending on what the plan is for the title in the tournament that we don't really know. Also, I was thinking today, WWE has a very, very, very big chance to throw a big middle finger at AEW with World's End. So, do you know where World's End is taking place?
Where?
Orlando, Florida, December 28th. It's a Saturday. Do you know where WWE is going to be on Saturday, December 28th?
Let me guess first.
Go for it. Take a guess.
Jacksonville?
No, Orlando, Florida. What does WWE apparently have booked on a Saturday in December that has not yet been announced? It's been reported all week. Saturday night's main event primetime special on NBC. What if WWE fucking goes to Orlando on December 28th, the same night that AEW is running a pay-per-view, and says, hey, come to our show because it's going to be live on NBC. And you know that's going to be a big show for WWE. WWE has the opportunity to give AEW a huge middle finger in December if they wanted to. So
I can see it. I can see it.
Just saying. Same city, same night, but we're on NBC and you're on pay-per-view. Moving forward, got Darby Allin and John, or no, I got to do it properly. As Justin Roberts says, Gian Moxley. It's not John, it's Gian. Whenever he says it, it's not John, it's Gian. I try not to yell too loud because there's people already asleep in the house. Anyways, Allin walks out to the ring with his skateboard and a loud ovation from the crowd. I think this may have been maybe a better pop than the Outrunners, but it was close. As he said someone's been looking for him, so I'm right here. Moxley, Marina Shafir then walk out from the crowd as Shafir got right into Darby's face and Moxley had to pull her back. Weird, but whatever. Moxley said that he doesn't know what Allin has seen or heard, but nothing has changed between them. Allin cut him off and said that was enough. They don't act like superstars. They don't live in a fantasy world. And I'm like, what are you fucking taking shots at WWE here for? Superstars, fantasy world. It's basically, we're not superstars in a universe is basically what they're saying. Whatever this Moxley thing is, it's a WWE-centric story, I think. Anyways, he said his first year in wrestling, he wanted to look for a hero. But after everyone he thought was that hero turned into a scam. It was Moxley, who he saw and became his hero. When he lost to Moxley on the independents, he realized that maybe he could be just like Moxley. Allin would do what Moxley did to Bryan to someone he loved. He would never do to Bryan what Moxley did to someone he loved. He said he would never do that to someone like Sting. And Allin asked what Moxley wants from him. I'm like, is it not obvious? Moxley said, Allin, you have a guaranteed world title shot. But that isn't happening, as the world champion is indisposed. That's a blessing in disguise, as Allin isn't ready to be world champion anyways. So he's going to need to hand over the world title shot to him. And I put my hand in my head in my hands at that point and go, are we fucking joking right now? You just want Darby to just say, okay, take the title shot. What, huh? This is pretty stupid, in my opinion. Allin then asked if Moxley is stupid or have you been drinking again? And that popped me, that line. I'm like, oh, goddamn. Allin said, if he wants it so bad, do something about it. Moxley said that he'll earn it if he has to at GrandSlam. Allin's world title shot will be on the line. Allen is so far below Moxley that he'll never be a world champion. But he's the only one who has Allen's back. Trust Moxley when he says Allen has no idea what he's going on, or what he's getting into, what a title shot really means, and who's it supposed to be. He will teach Allen the hard way. Allen accepts and says if Moxley wants to burn AEW to the ground, don't be surprised when he pulls Moxley into the fire. Moxley bowed to Allen and then retreated with Marina. I don't understand any of this at all. Why would Darby just go, yeah, I'll put my title shot on the line for you? None of this really makes sense to me. Can somebody please explain this to me? Because I don't get it. Do you get it?
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't understand. Darby won the Royal Rampage, which means, boom, you get a shot at the world title. But yeah, no, never mind. I'm just going to put the title on the line. And then Moxley goes, well, you're not getting the title shot anyways because Bryan's not making it to GrandSlam. Bryan is indisposed. Yet then, like 20 minutes later, they announced a match for Bryan at the show. What? And I get it. They kept saying, if Bryan can make it, he will fight Nigel. I'm pretty sure he's going to freaking make it. So, yeah, this all was just like a big what the hell? What the hell? Fox Marvez catches up Christopher Daniels and asks him how this affects GrandSlam. Nigel then approaches and says, hey, Daniels, I need to talk to Tony Khan. Telling Daniels, trust me. Khan will want to hear what I have to say. Commentary then took time to pay tribute to the lives lost 23 years ago for September 11th. We then had Mariah May versus Queen Amanada in an eliminator match. It was okay. It was nothing before the break. Kind of picked up a little after the break, but I feel like the crowd was only half into it. I want to be honest. Both ladies took turns with counters and stuff early on as they had a couple stiff forearm shots here. May then switched to slaps, and Amanada hit one of her own before a PK landed. Amanada then missed a hip attack in the ropes, allowing May to choke away, kissing Amanada on the cheek before hitting a drop kick to the back. May then hit a knee lift on the apron as we go to a break. May then hit a missile drop kick coming back from the break, but Amanada fought out of the corner and followed it with a snap suplex and a released German that folded May. Amanada then hit a charging punt kick to the face and got a 2 off of it. May then wiggled free of a powerbomb attempt, connected with the draping DDT for a near fall. Amanada again battled back, went to the top, but rolled through a double stomp. May then met her with a running drop kick and a Storm Zero to pick up the victory. Then after the match, she basically goes, I haven't had my celebration because somebody's missing. Mina Shirakawa, please come back. What'd you think of all this?
I thought the ending was kind of dumb.
A little weird. What I don't like is commentary literally goes, we saw Mina Shirakawa at All Out or All In, and she told us that she couldn't choose who she wanted to root for. Why? You should root for Mariah. You've been friends and partners with Mariah for how long? You've known, in storyline, you've known Tony since June. You've known Mariah for years. Is this just going to lead to Mina challenging Mariah for the belt?
I don't know. I just didn't really like the part at the end where she like laying on the ground like all like crazy and stuff.
It's because she's making fun of Tony Storm because that's the Tony Storm thing, the timeless Tony Storm thing. But yeah, I don't get it.
I'm curious to see like when Tony
go for it.
I'm curious to see when Tony Storm's coming back. Is she gonna come timeless or is she gonna come back like regular Tony Storm?
So, did you see when she went and did media in Australia recently for AEW, like last week or so?
I did not.
So basically, there's a video of her leaving Wembley Stadium in her gear and just walking out of the building to the streets. She tells media, yeah, I left Wembley and just came straight here to Australia. And she's still in the timeless gimmick. So, yeah, I don't know. But the Mina thing is weird because it's like Mina doesn't know who to choose. Does she want to be on the side of Mariah or does she want to be on the side of Tony? Now, if it's good versus evil, do I pick Mariah, but Mariah did the wrong thing, turning on Tony? Then maybe that's why Mina doesn't know where to go. But if it's just Tony or Mariah and what Mariah did doesn't matter, you pick the one you've known longer, the one you actually have an allegiance to. So, that's just my opinion. We got the Young Bucks backstage. Brought up how they wanted to have the greatest tag division in all of AEW, but 5 years in, it's still just their division. They're the division because they're still champions, multi-time champions at that, and there's nobody good enough to take the titles from them. They hear the whispers. Fans wanting new teams to step up, new teams to be the faces of the division. But it can't happen when they're as good as they are. Nicholas then said, this is the reason why we booked the Casino Gauntlet match, to find challengers. And good luck, because you're going to need it. They'll be watching live. So as we learned, they watched from the stage. Got a video package of Saraya and her family in the 0 hour of All Out. And then the return of Jamie Hayter was shown. I feel like we've seen this for like 3 weeks now. 2 weeks. Get to it. Any thoughts on...
Yeah.
When do you think we get Jamie Hayter and Saraya? Are they saving that for GrandSlam? Are they saving that for Wrestle Dream? When do we finally get that? Because we already saw Jamie and Harley, so I thought the Saraya match would come quicker than it has.
I assume GrandSlam. But I don't even know.
Yeah. Also, where was it? David Dicker says, just looked it up. Hana Kimura died on May 23rd, 2020. Okay. I thought it was end of 2019, but I was close. Rest in peace. Also, we have a couple more bit donations. One from Esports Gaming Rules. Says, Baby TK wants to recreate the vital BOSJ moment. That's the Super Juniors moment with Ricochet and Ospreay. So good luck, TK. So it's not just Best of the Super Juniors that got Ospreay and Ricochet over. They also had WrestleMania 32 weekend. They had a huge indie match in Dallas that got over huge as well. They basically put their names out there before even the Best of the Super Junior stuff. So it's not just that. It's everyone knows that Ricochet and Will Ospreay are going to go out and have a banger. But as I said earlier, my worry is they go out and have this banger, and then Ricochet is just a Kyle O'Reilly on the roster. So that's my fear.
I mean,
because
Tony Khan loves Kyle O'Reilly though.
Yeah, but what is Kyle O'Reilly's?
He does like to use him a lot.
But what is Kyle O'Reilly's role? It's what you said Ricochet's WWE role was. Go out there, have a good match with somebody, but they're going to beat you. I hope that doesn't happen to Ricochet in AEW as well. That's what Kyle O'Reilly is. Anyways, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, Brian Keith, they took on the Iron Savages, Bronson Boulder, and Jack Jameson. Jericho's wearing the ruined $7,000 jacket and slapped Boulder to start, which didn't bode well, as Boulder planted him with a punch. Jericho immediately tagged in Big Bill, who had a face-off with Boulder to meet chants from the crowd. Boulder hit a corner splash, but took too long to follow up, missing a second, allowing Bill to hit one of his own and a big boot. Keith then made the blind tag, as Bronson was decked outside, as Jameson then tagged in. Uppercut headbutt from Keith, which connected with a diamond dust. Jericho then made the tag, boot on Jameson, and the Learning Tree pick up the victory. Kind of a nothing match. Felt like Brian Keith got to shine, and that was about it. Jericho then just takes the win at the end. It's all about the post-match, though. Post-match, Jericho welcomes the crowd and talks about his ruined $7,000 jacket. He said the name. He said the name of the jacket, but I don't know. But what were you gonna say?
I thought you said, like, what do you think of the match you cut out on my end?
No. I said it was just a kind of a Brian Keith little. We're going to let Brian Keith have some big moments. That's about it kind of match. I said it was mostly post-match stuff. Again, he said it's 7,000. Go for it. Huh?
Did you see Jericho file the trademark for Hey Guys?
Yeah. Jericho's just always filing trademarks. Basically, it's every time he gets an idea, he's going to file that trademark so no one else could steal that idea from him, which is smart. Very smart.
How much does it cost to file a trademark?
I think it. I should know this because I literally did it recently for my business. My business partner did it, but I shouldn't know how much it cost. I know it's like $250 base, but then depending on other things you're filing with it, it could get up there. How much does it cost? Not as much as people would think. Yeah. Depending on the nature of the business and the trademark, anywhere from $250 to $750. So.
Wait, what was it again?
Depending on the nature of the business and the trademark, or trademarks, if you're filing multiple at once, anywhere from $250 to $750.
Jesus.
I mean, I would have expected more, but that's for a business. I mean, it's a write-off for the business anyways, because it's a business expense. So we had to do it for our production company. And it's not an easy thing to do either, because our production company is Light Sail Studios. So we had to go through the entire U.S. trademark office website and find other trademarks for the term light sail and make sure none of those were similar to what we were filing. So, anyways, he opens the backpack. Inside was a picture of best friends and Chris Statlander. Jericho said that Cassidy is still obsessed with friendship. And Jericho said there are no friends in wrestling. And if he thinks he has friends, he's being used. Pull your hand out of your pockets and head out of his ass and pay Jericho his money. I thought it would have been funny. Here's what I would have done. I would have had Jericho steal the backpack. Never look inside the backpack. Orange eventually gets the backpack back and then tells him, money was here all along. You could have just opened it up and got it, but you fucked up. You fucked up. But no, that's not what they did. Cassidy was then shown on the big screen and said he doesn't have all of Jericho's cash, but his boys do. Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly are then shown in a backhoe, and they poured $7,000 in change in Jericho's convertible as Cassidy tossed $1 in to make it exact. Jericho was furious, and it didn't even look like the car was damaged. So it's like, okay, cool. What are you trying to recreate? Stone Cold dumping the concrete in Vince's car? His convertible, his Corvette? I mean, this was okay. I wasn't a big fan of it. It kind of was like, meh. Kind of a meh thing. It's a creative way to do it. Oh, we're going to dump a bunch of change. But it's like, they didn't even mess with the car. Jericho should just pay somebody to take all the money out. Or make Brian Keith do it. So, we'll see. What we did get, which is pretty big news, Nigel McInnis coming out to the ring with a huge challenge and a contract in hand. Nigel McInnis is in the ring as he come back from a break. Nigel said there's something he needs to get off his chest. With Darby putting his title on the line at GrandSlam and essentially no longer facing Bryan, an opportunity was open. Good news there is that the champion does not have a match. So that's good news for the champion, who was probably strapped to an iron lung. They're basically saying that when Mox put the bag over his head, it almost collapsed Bryan's lung, and now he can't breathe on his own. That's what they're saying. That bag on his head for like, what, less than 2 minutes? I don't know. Just not believable. He said Bryan's probably strapped in iron lung, grasping for air like Justin Roberts when he was choked. And I'm like, oh boy, they brought that up. You know that reference, right?
Yeah. That's
what
how
got Bryan fired.
Got fired from WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was at the Nexus, he was like choking out Justin Roberts with his tie. That's how he got fired.
But think about it. It was the best thing that could have happened to him, though. It really was. Because if he would have just stayed as part of the Nexus, who the hell knows where he would have been if he just stayed as part of the Nexus. Him getting fired and then coming back as part of Team WWE at SummerSlam. Whoo! it was the greatest thing that could happen at that point. Anyways, because he got to leave WWE, go do indies for a couple months, and then just come back. Anyways,
I think he was still doing some indies, like while still with WWE, because
I think
WWE brought him back, but he had some stuff with like Open the Dragon Gate.
They let him finish the commitments that he made. Yeah, that's something that WWE at least used to be good about. They used to be good about if a wrestler that they sign has commitments, they'll let him finish them. They did it with Joe. They did it with Rhino when he came back. So that is something WWE has been good about. We're going to sign you. You got commitments? Finish those first. Because it's not.
They did it with Karrion Kross when they brought it.
Now, right, but it's not.
Back.
It's not the same for everybody though. Because like Stephanie Vicure, they made her cancel that CMLL match, New Japan match. So, anyways,
I mean, it depends who it's for.
Yeah, it depends on who it's for and if they need you for. Because like with the Stephanie thing, it was like, hey, we want to sign you, and we got these 2 shows in Mexico that we need you on. That was the whole thing. It was just like, I bet you if they didn't have those shows in Mexico but signed Stephanie at the same time, they probably would have let her finish do the New Japan match. But water on the bridge now. Anyways, Nigel said that it's not so good for AEW. As a former world champion himself, he believes GrandSlam should be the AEW, should see the AEW champion compete. Nigel, that has a piece of paper in his hand this entire time, and asked how many years he's had to watch Bryan Danielson, but he couldn't do anything. Watch Bryan have success. Success that should have been his. Remember, Nigel was this close to signing with WWE as a wrestler. And then they're like, nope, you're too messed up. You didn't pass your physical. Like, I think he was signed. And then they canceled the contract because he didn't pass the physical. There's a WWE documentary about it. Go back and watch it. It's great. Anyways, Bryan Danielson is afraid of Nigel, he said. He's afraid of the one match that everyone wants to see. But Tony Khan isn't afraid. He knows a money match when he sees it. So at GrandSlam, Bryan can go. It will be Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McInnis. And he guarantees that at Arthur Ashe Stadium, Oasis will play him to the ring. He said, but will Danielson join me for his final countdown? Or will it be the final match of the American Coward? Ball's in your court, Bryan. I thought this is great. Match should be really good. We don't know exactly what Nigel's got because he worked that gauntlet match, which means he didn't have to do a lot. So, see, I'm interested. Not a big fan of it not being Bryan and Darby when Darby won the number 1 contendership, and now Darby's just putting his number 1 contendership on the line for a random ass shit. So, cool, we're getting this match. I think, honestly, if I'm just spitballing an idea and thinking, not really an idea, I think the reason we're not getting Darby versus Bryan at GrandSlam is because Tony realized, oh shit, nope, we need to save that for Washington. And it's going to be Bryan and Darby in Tacoma. So at WrestleDream. But which means Darby beats Mox. And then this isn't for they didn't say this is for a title, right? Nigel and Bryan. I didn't miss anything there.
Can't remember. I can't remember.
I can look it up really fast to see if they tweeted about it. Because I didn't see anything about title on the line. Let me see. They announced a couple matches for next week, though. Yeah, it just says 2 weeks from tonight, if Bryan Danielson is cleared to compete, he will face Nigel McInnis. Doesn't say anything about title being on the line. Also, Tony Khan announced 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, Tony Khan did announce that next week on AEW Dynamite, the Young Bucks and Okada will take on the team of Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita. Interesting matchup. Especially with the tease of Takeshita earlier. Anywho, speaking of Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, we had the gauntlet match. Wait, I'm missing something here. Hook sent out a challenge to Roderick Strong. This was dumb because he literally already tapped this motherfucker out. So why do you need to fight him again? What do you think of Hook and Roddy for the FTW title? after he already tapped him out.
I don't want Roddy to lose the hook.
Well, like we talked to Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is the guy that's like, oh, you can have a great match with anybody. So go have a great match with this guy, but you're not going to win. Feels like that's Roderick Strong as well.
I know, but it's like, I want them to actually use the Undisputed Kingdom well, even without Adam Cole.
I do as well. I do as well. The Young Bucks come out on
I don't know. Like,
Young Bucks come out on the stage to watch the main event. They got like little executive desk chairs. And they get all comfy. Match starts, and it is FTR and the team of Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. So I want to get your opinion on something when it comes to this Casino Gauntlet match. This is now, what, the 4th Casino Gauntlet match we've seen. In your opinion, and I'll give mine after, because I've got like a reasoning for mine, so I don't want to like sway your opinion. In your opinion, if you were in a Casino Gauntlet match, knowing the rules, you know, it could end at any time, 21 people or teams are supposed to be in this match, but it could end before everybody gets out there. Would you want to be somebody earlier in the match or have a later draw?
that would be early.
Why?
So you're guaranteed in the match and you can still win.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. So there's two reasons of thinking here. Be in early, so that way you basically know you're in. But just like in a Royal Rumble, there's advantages to coming in late. Because you come in late, you're fresher than everybody else. The one thing I don't like about this match is that there's no actual real time limit between entrants. It's people just come out at any time. So if that's the case, why aren't people coming out like every 5-10 seconds? You know what I mean? They already said that. There's no set time limit between entrants. So it's like, if the rule is that this match can end at any time, and if you're number 15 and it ends at 12, well, why didn't you come out earlier then? Who was in charge of go? At least with the WWE, it's supposed to be 2 minutes. Sometimes I think they've done 90 seconds with the Royal Rumble, but it's normally 2 minutes between entrants. So that's my big thing. With this match being ended any time, you would think the thought process is, I want to come out later. Well, these other guys already beat the crap out of each other, and I'm fresh. But what if the match ends before I go out there? So with no set time limit, why aren't people coming out quicker? I get it. You don't want an entrant during a commercial break. So there's 3 minutes you got to wait. Typically 2.5 to 3 minutes, depending on the break. But that's just my one thing. It's why aren't people coming out quicker if there's no set time limit? Who is in charge of, all right, go. All right, go. And who's making the decision of, all right, it's been enough time, go. Other than no one can enter during a break, basically is what we've noticed. As far as the match does go, it was all right. I wouldn't call it great or anything. I say it did well, I would say, as a main event. Again, it started off with FTR and the team of Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. They started things off with fast pace and fast action, with Ospreay and Wheeler going at it early. Ospreay tried. Also remember, this is like basically a street fight. Texas tornado rules. You can fight anywhere and do anything, but I think the pin or submission has to happen in the ring. Ospreay tried a Hurricane Rana, but was launched in the air by Wheeler before Harwood caught him with the bounce back powerbomb and stacked Ospreay pretty stiffly, I might say. Fletcher then hit a Michinoku driver on Harwood before Ospreay moonsaulted off his teammate and got a 2 off of it. There's a flying lariat from Wheeler that sent Fletcher crashing to the outside as Harwood cut off Ospreay in the corner and hit a powerplex for the Righteous to then come out as team number 3. Vincent and Dutch ran wild in the ring before Wheeler cut them off, only to be planted with the Boss Man Slam by Dutch and a top rope senton by Vincent for a 2. Ospreay nearly caught Vincent with a Styles clash off sliced bread, but Dutch cut him off. There's a half and half from Fletcher, who hit a diving cutter on Dutch for a 2. The Kingdom, or the Undisputed Kingdom, whatever you want to call them, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett came out next and immediately hit a pop-up right hand, running DVD, and a knee strike on Ospreay to only get a 2 as we go to commercial break. We come back and immediately out comes team number 5, the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed come down and stare down the Bucks on the apron or on the ramp before they take the fight to the Kingdom and the Righteous in the ring. Meanwhile, FTR, Fletcher, and Ospreay are brawling on the outside as Stokely Hathaway was shown applauding in the front row. I don't know what that was all about. That was kind of weird and random and out of nowhere. Bowens and Caster then cleaned house and hit two Famousers on Harwood until MXM Collection was team number 6. So the countdown goes. The crowd all stands up to look who's coming out next, and there's a little bit of a stir from the crowd, but they're just showing the ring. And it just lingers on the ring, and we get the wide hard cam shot. And I'm like, I don't know this music. Who the hell's coming out? Crowd's kind of stirring for, and then it's MXM Collection. And I'm like, oh, never mind. I don't care. Keep going. So I didn't quite care for that.
Oh, damn.
Like, I didn't care for that, not because of them. Like, I'm not a fan of the gimmick. I'll just say that. But it was, I don't think there's a shot well. I hate when, and AEW's got a problem with this gauntlet match. Guys will come out. We don't know who it is because we don't know everybody's music, especially guys that are never on Dynamite. And they're just still showing the action in the ring. It should be, as soon as that countdown clock stops, unless there's like something, a huge spot you cannot miss, you cut straight to the ramp. In my opinion, that's how I would shoot it. Cut straight to the ramp and show us who's coming out. So they ran wild on the Kingdom. Commentary said something about them saying, you know, these two think they're fashion icons. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're just fucking iconically dumb. Anyways, they were about to touch tips when the Acclaim cut him off. There's a quadruple suplex spot, say that 5 times fast, that ended with Dutch landing right on the legs of Bennett as they go to another break. Come back from the break, and the next team to come out were Top Flight. Quickly fly around the ring. Taven taking the majority of the punishment. Dutch was then spiked with a pop-up DDT by Darius as Dante and Ospreay then squared off and had some moment here. Ospreay at one point hit a wall walk and Zaguri, but Dante backflipped him into a head scissors. Taven then flew in with a springboard boot until Fletcher turned him inside out with a lariat. Bowens then hit a combo until he turned it into a shatter machine. Literally everyone then dog piles in the ring as the pin is going on, and everyone's like, oh no, break it up. Outrunners then come out as team number 8 and get a good pop from the crowd, like big ovation. So Floyd and Magnum, I feel like, are the most over guys in this match. They hit a double team elbow drop and a slingshot dive to the Righteous. Grizzly Young Vets then come out as team number 10. And then FTR just says, screw the match. We're going to go fight these guys on the ramp. So they just start fighting them. And they brawl. I think they even brawled to the back at one point. Everyone then piles up on the floor, leaving Floyd and Mansoor in the ring for a suplex spot. And then we get the AEW does this a lot in these kind of matches where it's like 2 guys are in the ring. One guy's going to hit a move. The guy that just got the move is going to leave the ring. Someone's going to come in, grab that guy, do a move. Leave the ring. Someone's going to come in, grab that guy, do a move. I couldn't keep up, so I got no notes. It was just a bunch of guys came in and did moves. And then you take a move. And then I did a move, you take a move. I do a move, you take a move. And it's just, it rotated everybody in and everybody out. I think at one point, Mike Bennett hit a pile driver. Fletcher hit a brainbuster. Dante, I think, a Hurricane Rana. And then at one point, Fletcher got his knees up off of a big crossbody splash. Ospreay then flew in with a hidden blade and pinned Dante Martin to pick up the victory. So it will be at AEW GrandSlam. It will be the Young Bucks defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the team of Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. What did you think of the gauntlet match and the eventual winners and the upcoming title match?
I mean, it wasn't a bad gauntlet match. I kind of expected Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher to win. Once they announced Ospreay in the match, I was like, oh yeah, they're winning. They have to.
Right. So
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily say have to, but like it made it pretty obvious.
Here's my opinion with this gauntlet match. And I said this recently. I don't know if you were on the show with me when I said this. Commentary always plugs this as like a big signature match for AEW. They say this is a match that we have created and grown here in All Elite Wrestling. So if this is supposed to be like their Royal Rumble style match and a big, important, big deal match, I feel like, unfortunately, we see it too often. We've seen it too many times now, just this year alone, for me to feel big, important, and like a must-win kind of match. What do you think?
I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Because I'm not trying to compare it to the Royal Rumble, where it's like, oh, we have the men's Rumble, we have the women's Rumble once a year. But I feel like if this is supposed to be a big, important match that is going to lead to a big title shot on a big show, we see it too often. We've seen 3 with the men and now this tag one. I could be 4 with the men, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 3 with the men and then this tag one. We haven't seen a woman's one yet, but I just feel like if this is supposed to be some big, like, oh, this is our signature match. This is a big number 1 contender style match for AEW that people get into and they want to win. A, Will Ospreay's won every one he's been in, which is, I think, 3, maybe 2. And B, we see it too often for it to feel important. Honestly, I saw this match get announced yesterday, and I go, cool, they're doing it with tag teams now, but okay. It's just for GrandSlam. It's just a number 1 contenders match for GrandSlam to get a bunch of people. To me, it just feels like, because they do it so often, it's just another opportunity for Tony to throw as many people as possible on a show. That's what it feels like. He just wants to get a bunch of people on the show, so he goes, Casino Gauntlet. And it just doesn't feel special. They do it too often. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW Dynamite from Lexington, Kentucky. Not a bad show at all. Very easy to watch. A couple head scratchers and confusing things. Building towards the big show in 2 weeks. And then, when's the pay-per-view? AEW Wrestle Dream 2024. It is October 12th. Literally in 1 month is Wrestle Dream. Cool. Again, from the same city and building as last year, Tacoma, Washington, in the Tacoma Dome. I feel like they need to, and they're starting to do this with other shows, they need to rotate cities and stuff, in my opinion. What do you think on running the same pay-per-views in the same cities every year?
They should definitely rotate. Like, All Out's always in Chicago. I feel like they should rotate that.
I feel like the reason they do that is because it's paying tribute to the original All In being in Chicago in the same building. So it's like, oh, we have to do this show here every year on this weekend. Well, I understand why All Out is in Chicago every year, but it's like you already do that with Double or Nothing in Vegas every year. Move some stuff around. In my opinion, that's my opinion. They can do whatever the hell they want. All right, the poll is live if you're watching on a Twitch. As we go refresh the other polls.
I like how they had Dynasty in St. Louis, though.
Well, like Dynasty, I feel like that's a show they can do anywhere. Full Gear,
Revolution,
we've seen multiple different places. Full Gear, Wrestle Dream is going to be in a new city this year, so it's like, yes, a lot of their shows are in different places, but it's like I don't understand this show's got to be in this city, in this building, kind of thing. If you are watching, what am I doing? All right, here we go. As far as the polls do go. Threads poll, 75% like the show, 25% thought it was just all right. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 46% like the show, 30% thought it was just all right, and 23% didn't like it. One comment here says, a big fat meh. I mean, I could see that. I mean, if I was going to vote, I might vote just all right. I mean, I maybe vote liked it because I think it was better than just average, but I can't knock people for voting all right, because I feel like it's just a little above just all right. As far as the YouTube community poll, 67% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 15% didn't like it. Some of the comments here. Can't wait for Brian versus Nigel. Take my money. Versus says, I was there. It was great. Okay, cool. Versus says, when will Shane debut? Probably GrandSlam in 2 weeks. If not, he'll probably debut at AEW World's End. Do you think they save him for the end of the year? I don't know. Honestly, and I can't remember who said this. So here's my thing. This is not my idea. I heard this. I can't remember if this was from Brian Alvarez or not. It may have been, no, it may have been because it was from one of the Observer podcast. So it was either Brian and Dave or it was Andrew Zarian and Garrett Gonzalez. One of them, one of those shows, they said, do you wait for Shane and his debut till after the Vince doc comes out just to see if anything with Shane in that documentary makes Shane look bad or not? I think it might have been Garrett that said that. Do you wait and see how Shane is perceived in the Vince doc before bringing him into AEW? Just on the safe side. What do you think? I think it's not a bad idea, but at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like Shane's going to look bad in this documentary. Like, what? He's going to say, that's my dad and I stand behind him? You know? You think they should wait and see how how Shane is used in the documentary and whatnot? Because it's on Netflix, so it's not like some random Dark Side of the Ring episode on Vice. It's going to be watched by a lot of people.
I will say this though, like it's not a bad idea, but at the same time, it could be like over. Let's say hypothetically, like Shane is like portrayed bad.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it could be like exaggerated per se, because sometimes like in like some documentaries or like some shows, like they could portray someone as like bad just for like good TV or something, even though like it could be like over exaggerated. So like honestly, I would just take it as you want. Maybe.
As somebody who has edited a couple of documentaries before myself, also, and I'm not saying that I've done this, but I've seen the way things get edited sometimes take things out of context because you want a certain sound clip or sound bite to go with a certain clip. And so you cut what they say before that or right after that gives more context to what they're saying. And so you can take a paragraph of dialogue, cut it down to a sentence or two. And if you had the full paragraph of dialogue, it would make more sense and make the person look good. But then you take only the two sentences and then all of a sudden, oh, why the hell would they say that? Because you didn't hear the whole thing. So that's another thing you got to be careful with these documentaries as well, is how they're edited. And we don't know exactly what's taken out and what's not given to us for full context. This person says you need to add a didn't watch option. Nope. Because I don't want to know who didn't watch. I want opinions of who did watch. So everyone that says that every week should have put a didn't watch option. No, because I don't want to know who didn't watch. I want to know what you thought if you did watch. That's like saying, hey, what do you think of this game on PlayStation? I don't want to know what you thought of the game if you didn't play it. So there we go. Like if I go, what did you think Spider-Man 2 on the PS5? I don't want to know who didn't play the game. I want to know what you thought if you played the game. Look at the live poll, though. 73% liked the show, 18% thought it was just all right, and 8% didn't like it. Finally, everybody that watched on Dynamite did like the show. With that, guys, that's going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. But Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. I'm going to be live in a little bit, probably playing some Fortnite. Twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy. So have a great night. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you back here on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a good one, guys.